An exchange, in its simplest form, is a place or a system. It's where people or companies or even countries trade things. These things aren't always physical objects you can hold in your hand. Sometimes they are ideas, sometimes they are promises or even experiences. This act of giving one thing to get another in return is fundamental to human activity. It's a transaction, a two-way street of perceived value. You see this happening everywhere, every single day, often without thinking much about it. When you buy a coffee, you are exchanging money for a beverage. That's a basic exchange. At its core, it's about value meeting value, a buyer and a seller agreeing for a moment on a price. Now, it's important to understand that exchanges are not all cut from the same cloth. They come in a remarkable variety of flavors, each tailored to its specific purpose. Some exchanges are designed for trading money and financial instruments like stocks or bonds. Others are built to facilitate the transfer of information, vast oceans of data. Then there are exchanges that deal in experiences, such as programs that allow students to learn in a completely new country, immersing themselves in a different culture, or platforms that enable the sharing of art, music, and traditions across borders. Each type of exchange operates with its own unique set of rules, attracts its own distinct players, and exists for its own specific reasons. But despite this diversity, the central idea remains constant: a swap, a trade, a give and take. For any exchange to function effectively and for people to willingly participate, there needs to be a bedrock of trust. Participants must believe that the system is fair and transparent. This is where rules come into play. Clear, established, and consistently enforced rules are absolutely essential. Everyone involved needs to have a clear understanding of what they are offering and what they can expect to receive in return. Without this foundation of trust and predictability, exchanges quickly fall apart. Imagine trying to buy fruit at a market where all the sellers are known to use rigged scales. Buyers would vanish in an instant. Therefore, structure, regulation, and oversight are key components of a successful exchange. These systems of exchange, whether ancient or modern, are far more than just background noise in our daily lives. They are powerful engines that actively shape our world. They build economies by facilitating commerce and investment. They spread knowledge and accelerate innovation by allowing ideas to flow freely. They connect disparate cultures, fostering understanding and sometimes even collaboration. From the dusty trails of ancient caravans carrying silk and spices to the lightning-fast fiber optic cables of modern internet platforms transmitting data, exchanges have always been catalysts for change. They help societies to grow, to adapt, and to become more complex. In many ways, they make our vast world feel a little smaller, a little more interconnected, in a profoundly positive way. We will explore these different types of exchanges in the sections that follow. Let us journey back in time, long before the glow of computer screens and the hum of servers. Exchanges, in their essence, existed even then. Picture ancient marketplaces, bustling with activity. People bartered goods directly. A farmer might trade a sack of freshly harvested grain for a skillfully crafted piece of pottery from an artisan. These were the very first exchanges. Simple, direct, and conducted face-to-face. There were no complex financial instruments, no digital platforms. But as societies grew and needs became more sophisticated, the desire to trade over greater distances intensified. People yearned for goods, spices, and materials that they couldn't find in their immediate surroundings. This fundamental human desire for novelty and improvement drove innovation in the methods and reach of trade. One of the most legendary examples of an early, large-scale exchange network was the Silk Road. It's crucial to understand that this wasn't a single paved highway like we imagine roads today. Instead, it was an intricate web of interconnected routes, sprawling across vast swathes of Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. For centuries, a vibrant flow of goods traversed these challenging paths. Precious silk, exotic spices, and fragrant tea journeyed westward from the east. In return, gold, silver, fine glassware, and other manufactured items traveled eastward. But the Silk Road was a conduit for much more than just material commodities. Ideas, philosophies, religious beliefs, artistic styles, and technological innovations also hitchhiked along with the caravans, creating a massive, slow-motion exchange of culture and commerce. Trading in those early days was fraught with peril and uncertainty. Bandits and raiders were a constant threat along many of the less policed routes. The journeys themselves were incredibly long, arduous, and subject to the whims of harsh weather and difficult terrain. There were no international courts or global trade organizations to protect merchants or enforce contracts. Trust, therefore, was often built on personal relationships, family ties, or the hard-won reputation of a particular merchant guild or a trading city. Despite these formidable dangers and the lack of modern safeguards, the potential rewards, both financial and cultural, were significant enough to keep the caravans moving. The human drive to connect, to discover, and to acquire new things proved to be a powerful and enduring force. The legacy of these early exchanges, like the Silk Road, is profound and far-reaching. They dramatically demonstrated the immense power of connection and trade, even across formidable geographical and cultural divides. They proved that vast distances, once considered insurmountable, could indeed be bridged for mutual benefit. In doing so, they laid the essential groundwork for the future development of global trade networks and economic interdependence. The practical lessons learned about logistics, about navigating different cultural norms, about the fundamental principles of supply and demand, remain surprisingly relevant even in our high-tech age. These ancient networks were, in effect, the first globalizers. They shaped the rise and fall of empires, fueled economic growth, and were the information superhighways of their era, slow perhaps by our standards, but undeniably powerful in their impact. So what exactly are financial exchanges? These are specialized marketplaces, but instead of trading spices or silk, they deal in money-related things. Think of stocks, which represent ownership in companies, bonds, which are essentially loans to governments or corporations, and currencies from different countries. These are places, both physical and increasingly virtual, where individuals and institutions come together to buy and sell these financial instruments. The primary goal for most participants, to make money naturally, or in the case of companies, to raise capital needed for expansion and innovation. For others, it's about managing financial risk. These exchanges are absolutely central to the functioning of modern capitalism. You can think of them as the heart of the financial system, pumping vital capital throughout the economy. You've almost certainly heard the names the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, with its iconic trading floor, or Nasdaq, known for its technology-heavy listings. These are prominent examples of stock exchanges. This is where shares, tiny pieces of ownership in publicly traded companies, are bought and sold. When you purchase a share of stock, you are, in effect, becoming a part owner of that company, however small your stake. If the company performs well, innovates, and increases its profits, the value of your stock may rise. Conversely, if the company struggles or faces setbacks, the value of your stock might decline. It's essentially a bet, a calculated risk on the future prospects and performance of that business. Millions upon millions of these bets, these transactions, occur every single trading second across the globe. How do these stock exchanges actually work in a simplified way? First, companies that want to raise money from the public decide to go public and list their shares on an exchange. Then buyers who want to invest and sellers who want to cash out place their orders through brokers. The exchange itself acts as a central meeting point, a mechanism for matching these buy and sell orders. Prices are not static, they move constantly based on the forces of supply and demand. If there are many more buyers than sellers for a particular stock, the price tends to go up. If there are many more sellers than buyers, the price tends to go down. Nowadays, powerful computers and sophisticated algorithms handle most of this matching process at incredible speeds. It's a complex, high-speed dance of numbers, information, and algorithms, but the underlying principle is straightforward. Finding a price that both a buyer and a seller can agree on, at least for that fleeting moment. Why are these financial exchanges so important to our world? Stock exchanges play a crucial role in helping companies raise capital, the money they need to grow their operations, invest in research and development, build new factories, and hire more people. This in turn fuels economic growth and innovation. They also provide a transparent and regulated venue for individuals and institutions to invest their savings, with the hope of building wealth over time for retirement, education, or other goals. Furthermore, the collective movements of stock markets are often seen as indicators of overall economic health and investor confidence. A steadily rising market can suggest optimism about the future, while a sharp, sustained fall can signal underlying economic problems or anxieties. They are deeply, inextricably woven into the fabric of our modern financial lives. Beyond the world of stocks, there are other vital financial exchanges that keep the global economy turning. One of the largest and most active is the currency exchange market, also widely known as the foreign exchange market or simply Forex or FX. This is the global marketplace where national currencies are traded against each other. Think of it as a giant decentralized system where US dollars are exchanged for euros, Japanese yen for British pounds, and so on, for every conceivable currency pair. It is, by a significant margin, the largest financial market in the world, with trillions of dollars worth of currencies changing hands every single day. Why do people and institutions trade currencies? Primarily for international trade and investment, to facilitate cross-border transactions, or for some to speculate on the future movements of currency values. It's a truly global game, operating 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Why do the values of these currencies fluctuate so much? A multitude of complex factors influence currency prices. Interest rates set by a country's central bank play a major role. Higher rates can attract foreign capital, strengthening the currency. The overall economic growth and health of a nation are also critical. Political stability or instability can have a significant impact. Inflation rates, trade balances, and even unexpected events like natural disasters or geopolitical tensions can cause currency values to shift. If a country's economy is perceived as strong and stable, its currency is likely to strengthen relative to others. Conversely, if an economy is weak or facing uncertainty, its currency might fall. Professional traders and financial institutions constantly analyze this flow of information, trying to predict these movements and profit from them. It's a continuous cycle of news, analysis, and reaction. Then there are commodity exchanges, which are marketplaces for trading raw materials. These are not financial instruments in the abstract sense, but actual physical goods. Think of essential resources like crude oil, natural gas, gold, silver, copper, and agricultural products such as coffee, wheat, corn, and soybeans. These tangible goods are bought and sold on specialized exchanges, often using standardized contracts, much like stocks. Farmers and agricultural producers use these markets to lock in prices for their future harvests, protecting themselves from price volatility. Airlines and transportation companies use them to hedge against the risk of rising fuel costs. And of course, speculators also participate, betting on the future direction of commodity prices. These markets directly affect the prices of many everyday things we consume, from the food on our breakfast table to the gasoline that fuels our cars. What is the broader role of these other financial exchanges, the ones dealing in currencies and commodities? They are absolutely vital cogs in the machinery of the global economy. Currency exchanges ensure that international trade and investment can happen smoothly and efficiently. If a company based in Germany wants to purchase components from a supplier in the United States, they need the FX market to convert euros into dollars. Commodity exchanges help businesses across various sectors manage the inherent risks associated with fluctuating raw material prices. Both types of exchanges provide crucial liquidity to their respective markets, meaning it's easier to buy and sell large quantities without drastically affecting prices. They are, in essence, part of the essential plumbing that allows the global economy to function and grow. Section 5. The New Gold Rush: Understanding Data Exchanges. A relatively newer but increasingly significant type of exchange has emerged in our digital age, the data exchange. This is essentially a platform, often technologically sophisticated, where various forms of data are shared, bought, or sold. Think of it as a specialized marketplace, but the commodity being traded is information itself. This isn't just any random information. Typically, it involves large, structured data sets. This could be anonymized consumer purchasing behavior, vast collections of scientific research data, detailed weather patterns compiled over decades, or real-time sensor data from industrial equipment. Data has become an incredibly valuable asset in the 21st century. Some commentators even refer to it as the new oil due to its potential to fuel innovation and economic activity. So quite naturally, marketplaces, data exchanges, have formed around its trade. How do these data exchanges actually operate? Generally, companies, research institutions, government agencies, or even individuals can contribute data they have collected to the platform. Other entities, different companies, researchers or developers can then access, license or purchase this data for their own purposes. A critical aspect, especially with sensitive information, is that the data is often anonymized or aggregated to protect individual privacy. The exchange platform itself might offer various tools and services such as data cleaning, validation, secure storage, or analytical capabilities to help users make sense of the information. The core function is to act as an intermediary, making data more discoverable, accessible, and ultimately usable, thereby connecting data providers with those who need data. What are some examples and uses of data exchanges? The applications are diverse and rapidly expanding. Advertising and marketing companies use consumer data, often purchased from exchanges, to target their advertisements more precisely to specific demographics and interests. Scientists and researchers in various fields can share their experimental data through specialized exchanges to accelerate discoveries and avoid redundant work. City planners and urban developers might utilize aggregated traffic flow data or public transit usage data to improve infrastructure and urban living conditions. In the healthcare sector, anonymized patient data, when ethically exchanged, can help identify new disease patterns, assess treatment effectiveness, and advance medical research. The potential applications are vast, but they must always be balanced with careful consideration of privacy, security, and ethical usage, which remain critical ongoing concerns. What is the significance of data exchanges in our increasingly digital world? They are rapidly becoming crucial pieces of infrastructure. They provide the raw material that fuels artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, which are transforming countless industries. They drive business innovation by providing insights that can lead to new products, services, and more efficient operations. They can even help us tackle complex global challenges, such as climate change modeling or pandemic response, by enabling the sharing and analysis of relevant large-scale data sets. However, their rise also brings forth important questions that society is still grappling with. Who truly owns the data? How can it be adequately protected from misuse or breaches? Are the algorithms using this data biased or unfair? The regulatory and ethical frameworks for these exchanges are still in development, making it a dynamic and rapidly changing landscape, but their importance is undeniably set to grow. Section 6. Learning Without Borders Educational Exchange Programs. Now, let's shift our focus to a different kind of exchange, one that involves the movement of people for the purpose of learning and personal growth, educational exchange programs. These are structured initiatives that allow students, and sometimes teachers or researchers, to study, teach, or conduct research in another country for a defined period. It represents an exchange of individuals, knowledge, and academic experiences. Imagine a university student from Canada spending a semester studying engineering in Germany, or a high school teacher from Australia spending a year teaching English in South Korea. The core idea is to provide participants with the opportunity to gain new academic knowledge, experience a different educational system firsthand, and immerse themselves in a new culture. It is, at its heart, a journey of intellectual and personal discovery. How do these educational exchange programs typically operate? Often, universities, colleges, or even high schools establish formal partnership agreements with counterpart institutions in other countries. They work out the details of credit transfer, accommodation, and support services for the visiting students or faculty. Students interested in participating usually go through an application process. If selected, they enroll at the host institution for a semester, a full academic year, or sometimes a shorter period. Importantly, the academic credits earned while studying abroad often count towards their degree requirements at their home institution, ensuring they don't fall behind in their studies. Beyond institutional partnerships, there are also numerous government-funded scholarship programs and private non-profit organizations that actively facilitate and support these international educational exchanges. The overarching goal is mutual benefit for the individuals, the institutions, and the countries involved. The benefits for the students who participate in these programs are immense and often transformative. Academically, they gain access to different perspectives, specialized courses, or research opportunities that may not be available at their home institution. Personally, students often learn or significantly improve their proficiency in a new language. They develop crucial life skills such as independence, problem-solving, and adaptability as they navigate a new environment. They cultivate a broader, more nuanced worldview by experiencing a different culture from the inside. They also build international friendships and professional networks that can last a lifetime. These experiences are not just memorable, they can be genuinely life-changing. Furthermore, such international experience is increasingly valued by employers who see it as evidence of a candidate's resilience, cultural sensitivity, and global mindset. It truly opens doors. The broader impact of educational exchanges extends far beyond the individual participants. These programs play a significant role in fostering international understanding, goodwill, and cooperation between nations. They help to break down stereotypes and build lasting bridges between different cultures and societies. Future leaders in business, politics, or academia who have had the experience of studying abroad are often more attuned to global issues and more inclined to seek collaborative solutions. Educational exchanges also promote what is known as soft power, the ability of a country to influence others through attraction and persuasion rather than coercion, often through its culture and values. For universities, these programs help attract international talent, enhance their global reputation, and encourage the sharing of academic best practices. They are, in essence, a long-term investment in a more connected, knowledgeable, and peaceful world. Section 7, Sharing Our Stories, the Power of Cultural Exchange. Cultural exchange is fundamentally about the sharing and interplay of various aspects of culture between different groups of people, communities, or nations. This doesn't refer to a single monolithic entity, but rather the rich tapestry of human expression. It can encompass art in all its forms: painting, sculpture, theatre. It includes music, from classical symphonies to folk songs to contemporary pop. It involves the sharing of culinary traditions and food. It extends to customs, traditions, languages, social norms, and the underlying ideas and values that shape a society. The overarching goal of cultural exchange is to promote deeper understanding, mutual respect, and genuine appreciation between diverse cultures. It aims to break down stereotypes, challenge prejudices, and help us recognize our shared humanity beneath superficial differences. It's about connecting on a deeply human level, not just through the exchange of goods or financial assets, but through shared experiences and creative expressions. If we look back through history, cultural exchange is as old as human interaction itself. It's not a modern invention. The famed Silk Road, for instance, was not merely a conduit for silk and spices. It was also instrumental in the spread of Buddhism from India to East Asia, and it facilitated the exchange of artistic styles and technological innovations across continents. Ancient empires, through conquest or trade, often absorbed, adopted, and adapted various elements of the cultures they encountered. Consider the Roman Empire's adoption and reinterpretation of Greek mythology and artistic forms. In more recent centuries, traveling artists, musicians, writers, and scholars have always acted as informal cultural ambassadors. They carried the essence of their own culture with them to new lands, and just as importantly, they brought back new influences and perspectives that enriched their home societies. In our contemporary world, cultural exchange manifests in a multitude of dynamic and accessible ways. International film festivals showcase cinematic storytelling from around the globe, exposing audiences to different narratives and aesthetics. Music tours by global artists allow fans in one country to experience the rhythms and melodies created in another. Art exhibitions featuring works from diverse cultural backgrounds travel from museum to museum, sparking dialogue and appreciation. Sister city programs create direct links between communities in different nations, fostering grassroots connections. Food festivals celebrating the diverse cuisines of the world have become incredibly popular, offering a delicious way to experience other cultures. Even the internet and social media platforms, for all their complexities, enable a constant, almost instantaneous form of cultural sharing, though sometimes this can be superficial. We learn new recipes online, hear new songs from distant lands, and see glimpses of different lifestyles, all connecting us in small but meaningful ways. Why does cultural exchange hold such profound importance? Firstly, it enriches our individual lives, broadening our horizons and exposing us to new forms of beauty, creativity, and thought. Secondly, and crucially, it fosters empathy, tolerance, and cross-cultural understanding. By learning about and engaging with cultures different from our own, we are better able to see the world from other perspectives and reduce the US versus them mentality that can lead to conflict. It sparks creativity and innovation as ideas, artistic styles, and problem-solving approaches cross-pollinate between cultures. In an increasingly globalized world, understanding different cultures is not merely a pleasantry, it is a practical necessity. It's vital for international business, for effective diplomacy, and ultimately for building a more peaceful and cooperative global community. Cultural exchange helps us construct a shared global identity, while simultaneously celebrating the unique and vibrant differences that make our world so interesting. Section 8, Exchanges Today, a Connected Planet. In the 21st century, the landscape of exchanges has undergone a dramatic transformation. Today, exchanges of all types are operating at speeds, scales, and levels of interconnectedness that would have been unimaginable just a few decades ago. Technology, particularly the internet and digital communication, is the undeniable driving force behind this revolution. Financial markets, as we've seen, execute trades in microseconds, with algorithms making decisions faster than any human could. Data, the new global currency, flows across international borders almost instantaneously. Students looking for educational opportunities abroad can research programs, apply, and even attend virtual information sessions online with just a few clicks. Cultural trends, be it a new dance craze, a musical style, or a meme, can achieve viral global reach within hours through social media platforms. The sheer scale and velocity of these interactions are truly mind-boggling. Everything, it seems, is linked to everything else. This pervasive hyperconnectivity, largely facilitated by technological advancements, brings with it a host of enormous benefits. We see unprecedented efficiency in financial markets, allowing for better capital allocation. There is vastly increased access to information and knowledge for people all over the world. Global collaboration on scientific research, business projects, and social initiatives has become significantly easier. However, this same technology acts as a double-edged sword, presenting new and complex risks. Just as information flows quickly, so too can financial shocks. Markets can now crash with terrifying speed due to automated trading. Misinformation and disinformation can spread like wildfire across data platforms and social media, eroding trust and even influencing elections. Cultural misunderstandings, rather than being smoothed over, can sometimes be amplified and weaponized online. We must therefore be increasingly smart and vigilant about how we design, regulate, and utilize these incredibly powerful tools. The speed itself can be overwhelming if not managed wisely. Another notable trend in the modern era is the increasing specialization of exchanges. As our economies and societies become more complex, we are witnessing the emergence of more niche and highly specific types of exchange platforms. For example, there are now exchanges dedicated to trading carbon credits, a market-based mechanism designed to help combat climate change by putting a price on emissions. There are developing marketplaces for intellectual property rights, allowing creators and innovators to license or sell their patents and copyrights more efficiently. We even see the growth of prediction markets, where individuals can place bets on the likelihood of future events, from election outcomes to product launch successes. This proliferation shows the remarkable adaptability and enduring utility of the fundamental exchange concept. Whenever a new type of asset emerges or a new societal need for sharing or trading arises, new exchange mechanisms tend to be developed to meet that demand. It's a fundamental organizing principle for human interaction. This interconnectedness through various exchanges means that global interdependence is now a defining feature of our world. No single country, no matter how large or powerful, truly operates as an isolated island anymore. Our economies are deeply intertwined through global supply chains and financial markets. Our cultures are constantly influencing and being influenced by one another. Our most pressing global challenges, such as pandemics, climate change, and economic stability, are inherently shared and require collective action. Exchanges, in all their forms, serve as the primary conduits for this profound interdependence. Whether it's a stock market in Tokyo reacting instantaneously to news from New York, or a viral TikTok dance originating in South Africa and captivating teenagers in Brazil, the ripple effects are global. This reality necessitates greater international cooperation, deeper cross-cultural understanding, and a shared sense of responsibility for our collective future. Section 9. The takeaway. Why exchanges still matter. As we've explored, it's clear that the term exchange encompasses a vast and varied range of activities and systems. They are not just one monolithic thing. We've seen that they can be financial powerhouses like stock and currency markets, orchestrating the movement of trillions of dollars daily and shaping global economic fortunes. They are also increasingly digital platforms, facilitating the trade and sharing of data, which has become the new currency of our information age. Beyond finance and data, exchanges manifest as vital programs that send students and educators across the globe, fostering learning and cross-cultural competence. And they are the vibrant festivals, art exhibitions, and online interactions that allow us to share our human stories, traditions, and creative expressions. Each of these diverse types of exchanges plays a unique and vital role in the modern world. Each connects us in different yet significant ways, and each serves a distinct, valuable purpose. One of the most evident contributions of exchanges is their role as engines of economic growth and prosperity. Financial exchanges in particular are critical cogs in the machinery of capitalism. They help to allocate capital investment funds to its most productive uses, enabling companies to innovate, expand, and create jobs. Commodity exchanges provide essential mechanisms for businesses to manage price risks associated with the raw materials they depend on, contributing to stability in production and pricing. Even the newer data exchanges are contributing significantly to economic value by enabling the development of novel products, services, and more efficient business processes. Thriving, dynamic, and prosperous societies almost invariably rely on well-functioning, transparent, and fair exchange systems. They are the marketplaces where innovative ideas meet the investment needed to bring them to life. Beyond their economic impact, exchanges are powerful forces for fostering understanding, collaboration, and human advancement. Educational and cultural exchange programs, as we've discussed, build invaluable bridges between people from different backgrounds. They help to break down harmful prejudices and stereotypes. They cultivate empathy and a sense of shared humanity. These are essential ingredients for building a more peaceful, cooperative, and tolerant world. Data exchanges, when utilized responsibly and ethically, can significantly accelerate scientific discovery, technological progress, and solutions to complex global problems. The act of sharing knowledge, whether it occurs in a foreign classroom, through a collaborative research project, or within a shared dataset, fundamentally pushes humanity forward. It equips us with better tools and insights to solve our common challenges. Ultimately, the enduring power and prevalence of exchanges, from the dusty trails of the Silk Road to the fiber-optic networks of the Internet, stem from a fundamental and timeless human need: the desire to connect. We are social creatures, driven to interact, to trade goods and services, to learn from others, and to share what we have and what we know. As our world becomes ever more complex and interconnected, the need for effective, efficient, and equitable exchange mechanisms only intensifies. They're not just optional extras. They are essential tools for navigating our shared future successfully. Exchanges are how we build a better, more prosperous, and more understanding world. One transaction, one idea, one shared experience at a time.